Hello, everyone. Welcome to Developing Palates. I'm Aaron Loomis coming to you from the Drew Estate Studio. With me today is Jiunn and John McTavish. How you guys doing?
All right.
Good man. We're kind of doing a lot of AJ focused cigars tonight. I noticed.
We
It's
are
true.
actually.
And I
That's
don't know if
true.
that's just because everybody in the industry is partnering with AJ, or just
This is
happens
what
to be.
AJ wants, man. He's like tobacco mafia, right?
That's
Hey,
right.
So it's
why
like,
not?
no, you have to come to me to get some, or if not all your tobacco.
It's the way to
Yeah.
do it, baby.
No.
Corner the market.
All right. So today we are talking about the Southern Draw Manzanita Toro. Cigar is 6 by 52. Comes out of the Tabacalera AJ Fernandez factory in Nicaragua. The wrapper is Habano Hybrid. The binder is Habano. The filler is Palo de Oro Corojo 99 and an undisclosed Lajero. Blended by Robert Holt. Price point is $14.99. Cigar was released in December of 2020. So with all that out of the way, June, what was your overall experience like with this cigar?
What's with these expensive AJ cigars all of a sudden?
What was the
Oh,
price tag?
14.99,
yeah.
right? Especially coming out of Robert Holt, when you don't typically expect the kind of a maybe it's the Habano hybrid. I don't know.
It's
Anyways.
that undisclosed Lajero.
Oh, it's yeah. This goes to the hero from Texas. So what's interesting about this cigar is for the longest time, one of the biggest praise of Robert Holt's blended cigars using AJ's factory and tobacco is the fact that he does such a great job of not making it taste like a typical AJ cigar until now, because this tastes exactly like what a lot of AJ comes out with. Uh, Baking spices, leather, construction paper, uh, you know, you retro, you get it's a very earthy baking spice driven sort of a retro. The finish is very earth driven. Um, a lot of what AJ cigars taste exactly like this, and you're gonna give this to me at $15? Like, come on, man. You know, at least give me half price. But yeah, I thought this was a complete bust for me, which is not typically what I say of the big portfolio that Robert Holt has, because I do think he has some nice hitters in there. But yeah, total miss.
All right, John, what were your thoughts?
I'll echo some of what June said. I believe that Robert Holt consistently, if you look at his portfolio, he has some of the best offerings that come out of AJ's factory, either because he works really hard grinding AJ for the best tobacco, or they work really hard on the blends. But consistently, you look across his entire portfolio, which is quite big, he has some really, really good cigars coming out of AJ's factory. This is not one of them. And to echo some of what June said, for me, this actually started out really promising. It was like really desserty, like sweetbread and shortbread. And I'm like, oh boy, this is interesting. Like, this is a different profile than anything else he's done, which is always good because they don't want something else that's in his portfolio. Then it settled in and I got some baking spices. And I'm like, okay, still interesting. And then I kind of got cedar by the halfway point, but it was enough that I was like, this is a good. I'm excited to see where the rest of this goes. And then it just became kind of a paint by numbers AJ cigar, and it's not bad. It's just not memorable. Leather and citrus and earth and a little bit of bitterness, and I was like, oh, come on, man. And then last third, a little bit of creaminess, baking spice, bitterness, little earth, and I'm like, man, And if it's, I think if it's a short cigar, I don't think it'd be a big deal. But when you smoke a Toro, for me, a Toro is like 2 hours, so that's a long time. So I would say, for the first 50 minutes of the smoke, I was really having a good time. It was really nice first third. I tried to make that first third last as long as possible. Weirdly, I had burn issues. I had a wavy burn that required a touch up, and then the cigar went out and requiring a relight. So something's up. Something isn't right in the kingdom of AJ. Maybe the cigars just need a little bit more time. Maybe because it's a December release, got to kind of sit on them. Overall, pretty average experience. Aaron, walk us through you.
Yeah, for me, the cigar was pretty basic in its flavor profile of cedar, mustiness, and black pepper. There was some char to kind of start, which lessened into a toasted note, but the char came back pretty heavily in the final third. Once the dry earth joined in the second third and overall dryness for the profile kind of set in, I also had burn issues. The burn was straight the entire way, but in the second third, the cigar went out 3 times, and then in the final third, the cigar went out once. So that's not typically an AG experience, but it is what happened here. But yeah, the cigars have missed for me in the portfolio. In combination with this interesting, I wrote as an interestingly high price point. I don't really see myself coming back to this one. It just was a little bit of a diversion in the normal Southern Draw path, I felt. So it's kind of a bit of a bummer. All right, so let's get the scores. Going to start at the top with Jiunn at 5.75. John gave it a 5.65. I gave it a 5 even, and Seth, who couldn't join us, gave it a 4.08. So Jiunn had that 5.75 matchup for you.
It's average through and through for me. I had great construction. It's probably why I scored a little higher than all you other guys. Actually, no.
All y'all.
Seth really tore the shit out of this cigar.
Yeah.
I just looked at his score.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is average. Nothing wrong. It's just not worth the $15 for something that I feel like you could get at AJ's for like $6-7.
Yeah. All right, John, 5.65.
Yeah, man, this has got to be one of the lowest scores I think I've given a Robert cigar, and it's disappointing for me just because I think he's reached this point where, for me, I pretty much could buy a Southern Draw release blind, like a new release blind, because I'm like, he consistently puts out good plus cigars. So I'm hoping that this is just a matter of, because it's new, maybe it didn't, 2020 was so messed up. Maybe this is an issue where the cigar just needs a little bit more time. I do have another one. I'm probably going to light that up maybe when April, something like that. And I'm hoping that the cigar improves by then, because sometimes that happens, keeping the faith.
So my 5 even matches up. It was an average flavor profile going through until the final third hit, and the kind of charges built up. And then I think the burn issues kind of just took their toll by the time we got to that final third. I mean, 3 relights by the time you get to the final third, and then another one in that third, it's just not going to be a good third. So, yeah, perfect draw. Just the burn was just not good. So kind of just made it to that 5 score, which is pretty much dead on average. So. All right. Final thoughts from you guys in this cigar.
Like I said,
you guys feel like Robert Holt's stuff? I kind of feel like I've lost interest in his new stuff that's been coming out, right? Because for a while I was like, ooh, Rose of Sharon, Desert Rose, and new releases. And I'm talking about line extension stuff.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like he needs to help me reignite the fire of the hype behind this new stuff that's coming out.
Well, I mean, I guess I would argue, before the Manzanita came out, if somebody said, what is Robert missing in his profile, I'd be like, well, not really anything. I mean, he's maybe missing a Cameroon, but as we've found out, Cameroon's really expensive and really hard to do, right? So, within his portfolio, honestly, he's got mild, he's got medium, he's got full, and he's got a number of different full options. He's got spicy, he's got chocolatey. So, I mean, I'm not a brand owner, I'm not a manufacturer, but to me, I feel like he's probably proven enough, and maybe it's time to kind of go back and focus on his existing lines and maybe look at, and I hate to say it, but line extensions, cool, interesting Vitolas or cool, interesting project, kind of like what, he's already done with the Rose of Sharon. He came up with Lancero. That was kind of a cool idea. And maybe that's what he needs to do. I don't know. Well, to your point, Jiunn, the Manzanita does not enhance the portfolio for me. So
yeah, maybe you're right, man. Maybe instead of focusing on brand new lines that come out, focus on within the core stuff that he has, how he can kind of build them over. Oh, absolutely. I mean, yeah, I distinctly remember the first IPCPR. I think that was the New Orleans one. And I would just see him on the trade show floor just hustling, right? So, but yeah, I mean, dare I say, maybe he should use some other companies' tobaccos, but I don't think maybe that's not gonna role.
You know what? That's not a. I mean, we saw with John Huber. John Huber did that. He went around to a couple different factories and came up with some interesting projects. And maybe he doesn't do it as a regular release. Maybe he does as a limited edition. And I think that could be interesting. If he can get these kind of results, and this is going to come out way wrong, but if he can get these kind of results consistently out of AJ, who we've bagged on time after time, I feel like go send him over to Ernie. Go send him over to Hoya. I don't know if he'd be willing to do that because I think he has a pretty close relationship with AJ. But I'd be really interested to see what he could do with another factory, even if it was a limited release.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I wish him all the success, man. I've been super.
Oh, I do too.
Yeah.
It's it sucks to see his post that seems like he's struggling throughout,
He
especially.
he had a rough year, man.
Yeah.
He had a rough year.
Yeah. So.
All right, if you're just catching this video on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to us. Also check out the full written review on the website, developingpalates.com. Follow us on all the social media channels, and you can catch all of our review recaps on podcasts, on iTunes, Google Play, and Podbean. Thank you for tuning in. We will catch you on the next one.
Manzanita.